Hello, 1 2 3, testing 1 2 3. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So here we have the chapter that I covered today, which was chapter 8 of Qisas. And we're just going to look at some key concepts that we kind of came across, and maybe some longer examples. So let's take a look at this one right here. Ana la akhunu sayyidi. So in this case, we have ana, which is going to be a pronoun, so we know it's going to serve as our mubtada because it's coming in the beginning and it's an ism. Now that we know we're dealing with a mubtada, there's two main parts, mubtada and khabar. So la akhunu sayyidi. This is actually a very special example because what it shows us is that khabar is not always going to come as like one word or a phrase. It can actually come as an entire sentence. Now, how do I know khabar is coming as an entire sentence? It's because all of these things are linked together all around akhunu. So akhunu is actually a verb. It's coming from khana, right? Or khawana. And the reason why it looks so weird, because look at it, it looks pretty different compared to, like, let's say, ansuru, right? Or aftuhu, any of those verbs that we've seen before. It looks different because there's a waw in the middle. So it's deficient. And it's going to be conjugated differently. So it's actually on the same pattern of, like, nasara. Nasara, so yansuru, yansurani, yansuruna, tansuru, tansurani, yansurna, tansuru, tansurani, tansuruna, tansurina, tansurani, tansurna, ansuru. It's the exact same thing as that, but there's just a wow there. So akhunu, right? Akhunu. And then sayyidi is going to be the maf'ul, and this la here is negating it. And all together, they're going to act as your khabar. So when you see something that dominates other things and takes over them or brings them into the group with them, know that they're all being strung together and they're going to serve one role together in the sentence. So this is going to be your mubtada and this is going to be your khabar. So let's take a look at this one above. وَلَكِنَّ يُوسُفَ أَبَى. So this one looks a little strange. What's this lakinna thing? It's actually coming from one of our lists. And it's coming from the inna, anna, ka'anna, layta, la'alla, lakinna. And it means however. And kind of one of the giveaways for me at least that's coming from a particular list, it's because there's a noun coming after it that's in a state of nasb. You gotta ask, why would it be in a state of nasb? There's no verb before it. The only other reason we really know is a particular set of huruf that impact a noun and make it turn into a state of nasb, right? When they should usually be serving as the mubtada. So this is going to be known as our ism of lakinna, and this will be known as our khabar of lakinna. Aba is actually a verb, but a verb can also serve as a khabar, as we've seen before, right? So that's going to be our khabar of lakinna. And then waqala kalla. So one of the cool things you need to remember about qala is that qala is a verb. It means he said. But the maf'ul in class, we never call it maf'ul. We call it maqal. What was said, or the thing that has been said. So this is going to be your qala, which is going to be your fa'il. It has a built-in fa'il of huwa. And then kalla is going to be your maqal, which is usually called maf'ul, but in this case it will be called maqal. إنه أحسن إلي وأكرمني. So in this case, we're going to learn two things. What is أحسن, because it looks really weird, and what is عطف. So inna is from inna anna كأن ليت لعل لكن, similar to لكن over here, and it's going to have an ism. Usually when it comes to the حروف مشبه بالفعل, inna anna كأن ليت لعل لكن, if there is a noun attached to it, or a pronoun, that's going to serve as the ism of it. So in this case, who is attached to it? So it's going to be the ism of inna. Then ahsana ilayya wa akramani, as we saw before over here, everything's going to be strung together. How do I know that? Ahsana is a verb, right? It's coming from hasuna, and it's put on family 4, which is aslama. So aslama, you can kind of see it, right? So hamza, sin, lam, mim. Aslama, ahsana. Right, so it's a fa'il. And then we have after it ilayya, which is jar majroor. Now you might be asking yourself, what's going on here with this ya? So when it comes to the jar majroor, such as to harfu jar, such as min, ila, fi, they can have pronouns attached to it. So if I wanted to say fihi, if I wanted to say in it, it would be fihi. If I wanted to say from them, it'd be minhum, right? So you can attach it like that. Now with ila, there's already a ya on the end. So if I wanted to say like to me, it'd be kind of weird, right? Because like to me, usually say like minni or kitabi, my house, from me, right? In this case, what they do is that they actually put a shadda and then a fatha on top of it to say this is to me, right? To me, ilayya. It's to get around that. Because if they threw the ya on the end, it'd be really weird. It'd be like ilay, weird stuff, right? So they just say ilayya. And then وَأَكْرَمَنِي, here we learn the concept of wow in the middle of a sentence. When you see wow coming in what appears to be a middle of a sentence or middle of a line, it can mean two things. Either you're starting a new sentence or you're copying and pasting what came before onto what comes after. That's exactly what's happening here. This is all the khabar of inna. Now this wow is going to take that, copy it, and paste it onto akramani. Now all together this will be the khabar of inna. أن وعرف العزيز أن المرأة كاذبة. So in this case, we have our فعل, which is عرف, عزيز, which is our فاعل. We could tell that because of the dhamma, right? So it's the one doing the action. Then أن. When you see أن coming after a فعل, there's a pretty good chance that whatever comes after it and is attached to it is going to be a maf'ul. So remember, أن is from that special list of حروف مشبه بالفعل. إن أن كأن ليت لعل لكن, right? All from there. What does that mean? It's going to target whatever would usually be a mubtada and make it into the ism of anna, and then whatever comes after would be the khabar of anna. So all together these will be the maf'ul. So remember, when anna is targeting things and they're coming under its wing and being grouped with it, they're all going to serve as one component together in the sentence. So now we have fa'il, fa'il, maf'ul. We double click, we have ism of anna, khabar of anna. This one here was a little weird. So we have فَقَالَ لِزَوْجِهِ. That fa there does nothing grammatically. All it means is so or then, and it's just continuing on the concept or so, or starting off a new sentence. So قَالَ, when we see قَالَ, as we said before, it's going to take a maf'ul, and it won't call it the maf'ul, it will be called the maqal, which is what this is. This is what is being said. Now, لِزَوْجِهِ is just a jar, which is coming from the li. There's a harfu jar there. It's targeting zawj, which is making it g. This is your majroor. And this is also a mudaf. And then what's attached to it is a he, making it a mudaf ilayh. So jar, majroor, mudaf, mudaf ilayhi, muta'alliq, meaning it's connected back to the fi'l, which is qala. So whenever you have a jar coming in, it's going to have to be connected back to something. They can't just sit there on their own. So in this case, it's connected back to qala. So in this case, what is being said? إنك كنت من الخاطئين. So inna is a harf mushabba bil fi'l, as we've learned before, as above. It's going to have an ism, which is key, and then all of this together is going to serve as your khabar of inna. Now kunti is actually kana. It's a feminine version of kana that's been conjugated to have anti inside of it. And what it's going to do, kana, is that it will have an ism and it will have a khabar. Now we know the ism already is here because it's built in. So there's the ism of kana, and then all this will be the khabar of kana. So let's go for a bird's eye view now. This is going to be your fa'il. This is going to be muta'alliq. Back to the verb. This is going to be maqal. We further break this down. Ism of inna is going to be your key, and then kunti min al-khati'in is going to be the khabar of inna. Then kunt is kana, so there's an ism inside of it, which is ism of kana. All this is going to be the khabar of kana. Okay, this one over here was weird. وَعُرِفَ يُوسُفُ فِي مِصْرَ بِجَمَالِهِ. So he called this thing the naib fa'il. And what that means is that it's a replacement fa'il. When you're dealing with what's known as a passive verb, meaning that the doer is not known, the original version of this is arafa, which means he knew. When you put it on the pattern of fu'ila, it becomes majhul, meaning the doer is hidden. We don't know who's doing this action anymore. So this is urifa, which would now mean he was known. And now the person that was known was Yusuf. So Yusuf was known. Why do they call it the na'ib fa'il? Why is this a replacement fa'il? Because in this case, when you look at it, Yusuf isn't really the doer anymore. He's more the thing that's being spoken about. It's kind of like a maf'ul. But these things here, the majhul verbs don't take maf'uls. What they do is they take na'ib fa'ils. So just remember that whenever it comes to having a majhul verb, the usual thing that would be the doer is now going to be known as the na'ib fa'il because it's what's being spoken about. Yusuf was known, not that Yusuf is the one who is knowing anymore. Hope that makes sense. It took me a while to actually get that, so it's something that you really just kind of have to play with in your mind. Fi Misra is going to be jar majroor, and it's not Misri because Misra or Misrun is the place, it's Egypt, and it's partially flexible. بجماله is going to be jar majroor, مضاف مضاف إليه متعلق, back to the verb. Okay, let's take a look at one last example. وبعد أيام رأى العزيز أن يرسل يوسف إلى السجن. So وبعد أيام, this is a weird thing, really weird thing. It's actually a dharf, and the dharf is from those special lists of place and time words, and they can't serve as mubtada. They can't. So this is not the focus of our sentence. It's not. Ra'a, which means he decided, is actually, and it's a fa'il. So what this is, ba'da ayyam, it means after many days. So it's describing a time in which an event took place. So he decided after many days. So what we would say is that this is a maf'ul fihi. Remember, maf'ul is the receipt. It's kind of like, geez, how do I explain it? It's not simple to say. So there's like 5 types of maf'ul. The regular one we know is maf'ul bihi, which is like the receiver of an action. Another one is maf'ul fihi, which is describing when an action took place. So this is maf'ul fihi muqaddam. Muqaddam meaning it's just coming before the verb, right? So al-azizu is going to be your fa'il. Then an yursila yusufa ila sijn is going to be your maf'ul. Now an, there's a weird thing here. What's going on here? An is from a special list that we learned. An lan likay hatta idan. Right? And what that list does is that it takes a fi'il that comes after it and puts it into a state of nasb. That's why it's not yursilu, it's yursila. Right? So it's targeting it. And it pretty much gives it the masdar meaning. So this won't really have a present tense meaning anymore. It's going to have one that really fits with this sentence. So we have an yursila yusufa ila sijn. So yursila will be your fi'il, yusifa will be your maf'ul. We know that because of the fatha. Ila sijn is going to be jar majroor muta'alliq, back to ra'a. So this will be your fi'il, fa'il. All of this together is going to be strung together now to be your maf'ul, right? And it would be translated as, after many days the Aziz decided to send Yusuf to jail. Now, why is it to send? Right? Usually, yorsilu or yorsila would be present tense, but to send is more like a masdar. So what an is doing is that it's converting it into the masdar meaning, right? Into the concept meaning, which is just to send, not sent or currently sending or any of those things. It's just the basic concept meaning. That's what an does when it comes with a verb. And we can take a look at this one here, because this one was a little complicated. I know you asked a question about it. وَكَانَ الْعَزِيزُ يَعْرِفُ أَنَّ يُوسُفَ بَرِيءٌ. So, we have kana coming here, and when kana comes, there's going to be an ism of kana, and there's going to be a khabar of kana. So, al-azizu is going to be your ism of kana, right? And then the khabar of kana will be يَعْرِفُ أَنَّ يُوسُفَ بَرِيءٌ. This is now your khabar of kana, all of this. How do I know this is the khabar of kana? And this is not like simply broken apart. When I first did this with Ustad, I actually thought this was the khabar of kana. And I made a big mistake. Because the ism of kana is always going to be in a state of rafa, which we see here. The khabar of kana is supposed to be in a state of nasb. It's the opposite of harf mushabba bil fi'l. You know, inna? Like inna would be inna allaha sure Allah was alim. Inna Allah alimun. For sure Allah is all-knowing. Inna Allah alimun. Well, kana would be kana. Oh, my brain's going blank. So kana al-babu fathan. Kana babu fathan. So the door was open. See how fathan, the thing in khabar, is now in a state of nasb? Yeah, that's what would be happening if it was the khabar of kana. Hope that was clear. Sorry if that was a little confusing. My mind kind of derped there. So يعرف أن يوسف بريء. So يعرف is going to be a فعل, and then أن is going to be your اسم حرف مشبه بالفعل. This will be your اسم of أن. This will be your خبر of أن. I hope that was clear. That's all like the major concepts really from this. And yeah, alright. Assalamu alaikum.